Has everything that they've told us about these wildfires in California, Hollywood, Palisades been a lie?
Adam is transferring. Incident command, Commander 21, Maui. That's going to be a 5495 vehicle, but let's see here. Is that correct?
I don't know if you guys heard that, but neighbors on the street indicated that they had experience with wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So basically what we're seeing here is apparently there was a suspect accused of starting the 900 plus acre wildfire, which is still going on. Los Angeles residents actually caught the suspect. And I say suspect because it's not confirmed, but he allegedly was, caught in the attempt to start some fires. Now, as you guys can look on the police car, there's some paraphernalia here, which appears to be belonging to the suspect that's in custody at the moment.
How you're doing? And Mel joins me by phone right now. Mel, I am so sorry to be talking to you under these circumstances. I'm looking at video of the ruins of what was once your home. I got to ask you how you're doing.
I'm doing good. It's just a thing. But, it is obviously, it's kind of devastating. It's emotional. You live there for a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Mel Gibson, and apparently Mel Gibson's Malibu mansion burned down while he was filming Joe Rogan's podcast.
And you had all your stuff. You remember George Carlin talking about your stuff? Yeah. I had my stuff there, and it's all like, I've been relieved from the burden of my stuff because it's all in cinders.
Yeah.
Look at this guy here. This appears to be, go back. Yeah, this is the continuation. So notice what this guy is holding in his hand, right? He's got something yellow. And can you guys make out what this is? Because I'm having a hard time. Look at what's yellow in his left hand. And look at this like pipe or something in his right hand. Clearly, they're arguing about something. And now looks like the neighbors, they're all holding this guy, restraining him. And then he gets taken down. Now, I'm not going to play the entire video because I'm not trying to get in trouble. You know how it goes on this platform. But you can pretty much imagine what happens after this. So is everything that we were told about these wildfires been a lie? In other words, have these fires actually been started? Because we've seen reports where there are neighborhoods where multiple homes are burned down to the ground, and then their neighbor has like not a single leaf in their yard burned. Two homes can be in perfect condition, and in between those two homes, they're completely burned to the ashes. Homes in the middle. So it's like, how is this happening, right? It almost seems like some homes are being skipped and other homes are being targeted.
Every once in a while, here, look behind me here, I'm going to go this way. You'll see a house that looks perfectly fine, or you'll see a car that is melted. And then next to that, a brand new, sports car, untouched. It's so fascinating. We were having this conversation. I was talking with my photographer, Carlos. We were just kind of wondering, is it newer buildings because of, building regulations have changed, and then we'd see an old home that is standing. And, is it, a better sprinkler system? What is it? And, it just seems to be luck. And it's so jarring, and this is so sad to see, what this community, used to be and what it is now. And it's a wonder, what it will ever be able to be again.
This is really, really weird stuff. By the way, guys, if you're just now joining live, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys. President Joe Biden attended a televised fire briefing with California Governor Gavin Newsom. After the firefighting officials gave their updates, President Joe Biden decided that this was the best time to announce that he was going to be a great grandfather. I mean, happy for him and all, but it's kind of tone deaf given how people lost life and and homes to this devastating fire, is now really the best time to tell people about this? You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump, he jumped on Truth's social to share his comments about the wildfire and how Gavin Newsom is to blame for the lack of water for the firefighters. But then again, others are pointing to the blame at Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, another Democrat, for slashing the fire department's budget just last year while prioritizing spending for the city's homeless population. Well, I've heard from some Californians myself, and many of them are saying that they're just completely sick of their taxes supporting half the country. A friend of mine even said that states that keep their citizens dumb and broke as a political strategy really shouldn't get any Californian money. But yeah, the whole thing is just one big old cluster fudge if I ever saw one. And amidst all of this, Biden seriously thought that this would be a good idea to announce the birth of his great-grandchild, like right now? Here, watch how awkward this whole thing was. Check this out.
We are going to play this clip. The audio is not great. The other part of all this is this has been this administration's approach to press for a long time. Journalists weren't allowed close to him. This is why there isn't a microphone there. So put that in context of why it's hard to hear, and then listen to what he has to say.
The good news is I'm a great-grandfather as of today. I was granddaughter. 10 times baby girl, baby boy. So I remember this day for a while. Long resources for that.
Kenny, I can anticipate that is not going to be a well-received moment to make that announcement. There's been 1,000 structures destroyed. This is still very much out of control in Los Angeles, and 2 people confirmed dead. There's any chance there could be more than that, with emergency evacuations still taking place. So that's what the President of the United States chose to say at that point in time. At the same time, while the political discussion is unfolding around the management of water, Donald Trump has weighed in. Now, this goes back to his first time around as president, when there was an agreement around bringing water in from the north of the country to the south. Gavin Newsom said no, because they thought the additional water being brought in the way that the federal government wanted to bring it in would impact local fish stocks. And so now Donald Trump's saying that's why they don't have enough water. The California government is disagreeing. They're saying that they had other means to bring that water in, and they changed their strategy 2 years on after that. But this is what Donald Trump had to say on Truth Social. He posted this earlier today. He said, Governor Gavin Newsom, which is his nickname for Gavin Newsom, refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow. And if we could go over to the next one, daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt. By giving it less water, it didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He is the blame for this. On top of it all, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes.
Yeah, comparing what Joe Biden and Donald Trump said about the California wildfire, you can see why a fire briefing is really not a great place to do this announcement of the birth of your great-grandchild, your first great-grandchild. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he's saying, like, it's all about Joe and the heck with the American people. Now, honestly, this just kind of reminds me of the time that he told the devastated people of Maui, Hawaii, that they had a lot in common because his Delaware house almost burned down and he nearly lost his prized Corvette. Y'all remember that, right? All because of some small kitchen fire. Like, is Joe Biden a narcissist? How does every event somehow come back to talking about him? Yeah, that definitely did not go over very well with the people of Maui. But yeah, going back to his comments at the fire briefing, let's actually get into what happened, right? So yeah, President Biden's off-topic remarks came during a meeting with firefighter officials about the fierce wildfires that were raging in the Los Angeles area. And to be fair, he was doing a pretty good enough job at first, even though they were trying to keep the journalists well away from him. He was talking about doing anything and everything as long as it takes to contain these fires and actually help to reconstruct, make sure that they can get things back to normal, that the government is here to stay as long as LA needs them. But then, of course, Governor Gavin Newsom thanked Joe Biden for federal support in the fight. But after that was when the president, for some inexplicable reason, he took the meeting in an unexpected direction and announced that he had become a great-grandfather and celebrated the birth of his eldest granddaughter's first child. And this was the last thing that he said before declining questions from reporters as usual. I mean, talk about tone deaf, right? Now, before this, Kristen Crowley, the Los Angeles fire chief, was talking about how her team knew that there was a significant threat from the Pacific Palisades fire as soon as it started because of the high winds, and that she had never seen anything like the wind conditions in her 25 years of experience. So yeah, Biden read the room. At least 2 people have died and more than 30,000 are evacuated as a result of the fires that have consumed a total of 22 square miles. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump, he jumped on Truth Social to criticize the leadership of Gavin Newsom, particularly for his resisting a plan to send more water to the state's agricultural Central Valley because of concerns over endangered species. Trump pointed out how Gavin Newsom wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. So according to the president-elect, now the ultimate price is being paid. Now, the context here is apparently some fire hydrants across Los Angeles County, they ran out of water in the middle of the overnight firefight. The official statement from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works, that was due to an overwhelming demand on the municipal water system not designed to fight wildfire. But see, guys, they've actually been fighting wildfires for as long as I can remember. I mean, even insurance companies won't even touch homes in the area anymore because of the fire hazard there. So are they saying that they were never prepared this whole time? But yeah, so in case you guys haven't heard, at least 4 wildfires are currently raging in Los Angeles County at the time of this video. They're tearing through the Pacific Palisades and similar neighborhoods of Los Angeles, as well as near Pasadena. A lot of celebrity homes there, actually. So yeah, at least 30,000 residents have evacuated from the area. Governor Gavin Newsom's director of communications, Izzy Garden, responded to Donald Trump's Truth Social post, saying that they're focused on protecting lives and battling these blazes, not playing politics. Now, as for Gavin Newsom himself, he's declared a state of emergency, saying that this is a highly dangerous windstorm that's creating extreme fire risk. His warning for everyone: if you're in Southern California, please pay attention to weather reports and follow any guidance from emergency officials. But yeah, guys, about this whole water suggestion from Trump thing, I looked it up. Trump, while on the campaign trail last year, he vowed to send more water to California if he's reelected. He said that he would tap a large faucet in the northern parts of the U.S. that would deliver water to the state. Here he is talking about it just now. Watch.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water.
So yeah, the Sacramento San Joaquin River Delta, one of the Golden State's top water supply systems, has been fiercely protected by environmentalists over its dwindling smelt and Chinook salmon populations. Now, as Trump said in September, you got millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps and Canada. And all of this pouring down, and they essentially have a very large faucet. You turn that, and all of that water aimlessly goes into the Pacific Ocean. And if they turned it back, all of this water could come right down and right into Los Angeles. But yeah, so Trump and Gavin Newsom have pretty much been at it since his first administration. All the way back to 2018, Trump was posting on X about Gavin Newsom. Now, one of his tweets that I found said that there is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except that forest management is so poor. Billions of dollars are given every single year with so many lives lost, all because of gross mismanagements of the forests. Remedy now or no more Fed payments. Now, as for Gavin Newsom, he shot back at the then president saying, "You don't believe in climate change. You are excused from this conversation." So what do you guys think? Any Californians here want to weigh in on this one? But yeah, everybody's welcome to share their thoughts and their comments down below. Hit me up. I want to hear from you guys. Even just dropping a quick yes or no really does help out with the channel engagement. So I really appreciate you guys. Also, if you appreciate the content, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. But another question that's being raised right now about how they're handling the LA wildfire is Mayor Karen Bass slashing the fire department's budget last year while prioritizing spending on the city's homeless population. See, for the 2023-2024 fiscal year, Los Angeles budgeted $837 million for the Los Angeles Fire Department, which was roughly 65% of the size of the homeless budget of $1.3 billion. From the 2023-2024 to the 2024-2025 budgets, the LAFD's budget was reduced by over $17 million, from $837 million to $819 million. And it gets even worse, guys. An analysis by LA's city comptroller last year found that roughly half of the budget for homelessness went unspent. Plus, Bass had even proposed a larger budget cut for the LAFD, about $23 million, but it was not adopted. Could you imagine if it were? Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Golden State is now facing an insurance crisis after several insurers completely just fled the state. Did you know that out of 20 of the most destructive California wildfires, 7 have taken place in the last 5 years? The 2018 Camp Fire caused $10 billion in damage. The Tubbs Fire in 2017 cost $8.7 billion, and the Woolsey Fire in 2018 cost $4.2 billion. And with a lot of celebrity homes torched in this one as well, you know this ongoing fire is going to cost so much more. We'll just have to wait for that total to come out, though. But going back to President Joe Biden, I still just can't get over the fact that of all the times that he could have picked to announce the birth of his great-grandchild, he chose to do it at a fire briefing. But then again, by the looks of it, the president and his administration, they're not going to be getting any good press anytime soon. I mean, just think about it. President Biden's going to be in office for what, less than 2 weeks more? But it's not slowing down Utah Attorney General Sean D. Reyes and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, both Republicans, from taking the Biden administration to court over their new energy efficient housing standards that they argue undermine affordable housing and go beyond what the federal law even allows. And this isn't the only late lawsuit or complaint filed against the Biden White House in its waning days. In fact, it actually marks Paxton's 103rd lawsuit challenging the Democratic administration. As Paxton explained it on Fox, they've had to prevent him from being more of a king or a dictator than an elected executive who's responsible for implementing, not creating laws. And in this new one, they're arguing that the administration's energy standards are not only burdensome, but they're also exceeding the authority granted by Congress and even inflicting unwanted and unneeded cost increases on Americans who are already struggling to pay their bills, to be able to provide for their families, and to secure a brighter future for their children. And they aren't the only ones. More than a dozen Republican AGs over the last 4 years have kept the Biden administration on alert and issued notices on several of his policies. In November, Iowa Republican Attorney General Brenda Byrd, together with more than 20 other attorney generals, they sent a letter to Special Counsel Jack Smith, New York Attorney General Letitia James, and also Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, calling on them to drop their cases against President-elect Trump to avoid the risk of constitutional crisis. Paxton also filed a lawsuit in November against the Biden-Harris Department of Justice to prevent potential destruction of any records from Smith's corrupt investigation into President Donald Trump. In short, President Biden and his administration, they're going to have a lot to answer for in their last days of office and even probably after that. So anyway, make sure you guys tune in again next time for the next installment of this and all the latest news that matters to you guys. But stick around to the end because I got some suggested videos I really think that you guys should check out. But as always, appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.